Yes, it is possible, but it is difficult to recommend it because it can be very dangerous for Sangha. Some monasteries will prohibit ordinations of openly gay men. Why? The short answer is that the monastic environment is specifically designed to be segregated for celibacy. Segregation of genders breaks when homosexuals are ordained and mix with other monks. This is true especially at large monasteries where there is less supervision. Nevertheless, while I have not counted or confirmed who is who in the monasteries, I would imagine that there are some good monks who are homosexual and doing very well. Generally speaking, there is a don't ask, don't tell policy. It is best to focus on the spiritual life instead. The senior monks will assume that the monks who are homosexual have uncontrollable lust because their exposure is related to cases in their own monastery or neighboring ones where a monk has engaged in this behavior and perhaps with multiple monks. It destroys the life of that monk as well as the monks involved. It is for this reason that this perception exists, because lust went beyond the mind and control was lost. Is this a representation of all homosexuals? No. But I'm explaining why the perception exists. In a monastic environment, most potential dangers are removed through segregation of men and women. Most monasteries prohibit women from visiting after hours, let alone sleeping in a monastery. In short, if there are no women, then there is no possibility for sex with women. For this reason, that danger does not exist. However, when it comes to homosexuals, that segregation cannot happen. Venananda once asked in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, "Sir, how do we proceed when it comes to females?" "Without seeing, Ananda." "But when seeing, how to proceed?" "Without getting into conversation, Ananda." If a monk were to live with nuns, it would be very difficult for him to be happy with his monk life, because lust would naturally arise. In fact, not so long ago, there was a highly skilled meditation teacher who ended up having sex with a nun because he had too much contact with women. He was immediately disrobed the moment the act happened, whether he told anyone or not. Even though he was a great meditation practitioner and teacher, we could still say he had uncontrollable lust. Why? He didn't control it, and it was lost due to constant exposure to the attracted gender. In the same way, a homosexual monk who lives with other monks could be a problem. It would be natural for lust to arise. When visitors are not around, we often walk around topless or with skimpy shoulder cloths. Some monasteries have saunas, and monks are allowed to go naked in them, although many don't. Would you like to try celibacy and live with near-topless nuns? Even if you are an extreme liberal, you should be able to see this as a problem. Yes, Ajahn Brahm has been known to be open to ordaining homosexuals in his monastery. His place has been recommended once to a person who wanted to ordain but could not do so at Pa-Auk. Pa-Auk Monastery prohibits openly gay and sexually experienced homosexuals from ordaining. Sometimes people don't figure out who they really are until later in age. They might ordain thinking they don't have much desire for women, and therefore monk life might be easy. Even though they are biologically gay, their ordination is still valid. There are only special cases where the male genitals are deformed or missing invalidates an ordination. So one who is gay but didn't figure it out before he ordained would definitely know his status with the practice of extreme celibacy. Celibacy is one of the main defining characters of being a monk. If you are not celibate, you are not a monk. When extreme celibacy is practiced, the lust will naturally arise when the objects of lust are present. One can maintain control through mindfulness, but a segregated monastic environment has limited objects for the lust objects to even be present. The topic of homosexuals in monasteries is a touchy subject, and it would be best if there were a proper solution to meet everyone's needs. In Theravada, we still recommend celibacy as a best practice for both heterosexuals and homosexuals. Obviously, being a monk gives one an environment to practice that way, but that environment is only designed for heterosexuals living in segregated residential quarters. Being born with a homosexual orientation presents unique challenges within the traditional monastic framework, which is primarily designed for celibate life segregated by gender. This reality calls us to reflect deeply on the nature of samsara and the complexities of human experience. It is a reminder of our shared journey towards enlightenment, which requires us to cultivate understanding and create conditions where every individual can strive for spiritual liberation, to reach nibbana.